Hi friends, so what we're going to be working on today is coloring in our humpback whale. If you have crayons, use your crayons. If you have colored pencils, you can use colored pencils. Whatever coloring supplies you have, you can use. And remember, if you need coloring supplies, please let me know so that I can make arrangements to drop that off. Now today we talked a little bit about value, so adding white and adding black. So when you use crayons or colored pencils, it's the same technique. What you end up doing is coloring lighter with the crayon. So for example here, let me show you. If I color really light with the crayon, it's going to have a lighter blue than if I put down some more pressure. Not enough to break it. If I put down more pressure, and then I'm very lightly, very lightly shade over it with black, I'm going to get gray. And the same thing applies to black. If I go lightly, I'm going to get a gray color. If I press down hard, I get a black color. So you can see that the value changes depending on how hard you press down on your crayons. Now, humpback whales are kind of a dark bluish gray color. So I'm going to just lightly color in my humpback whale. This is my favorite humpback whale that I've drawn this school year, and I've drawn a couple of them. This one's my favorite. So I'm just going to lightly color in the top part of the whale, or the area that I've decided is the top part of the whale. And I know you're thinking, Miss Ottenreath, you're not coloring that in very well, but I want to add other colors to it, and with crayons you have to color it in lightly. So I want the tail to appear to be blue without it actually having too much blue in it. And I'm going to do the same thing for his flipper. Now, I know you're thinking, Miss Ottenreath, you're going outside your lines. You never do that. Well, this project, we're cutting it out. So it's okay if you go outside your lines a little bit. Now, the next thing you're going to do, or what I'm going to do anyway, is I'm going to take my black, and I'm just going to make the areas dark underneath and around. Now I am going to go through and do my highlights. So I'm going to do is eye, mouth, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to trace along the outside. Now that I've colored it the way that I want it to look, I'm tracing it with my black, because I want the black to be the darkest parts. I am going to add more black over the top, but I want the outline that I'm creating, I want that to be pretty dark. But I'm not pressing down very hard. I'm only pressing down hard enough to make it darker. And I'm trying to be careful because you can still mess up at this point. So try to do your best on this part. Now, I would like it if you outlined your whale also. You can see the features better, but you don't have to. I have a preference for that. So now I'm going to just lightly color in over the top of the body. And I'm going to do a little bit lighter in the body with my black crayon than I did on the underbelly. And then, oops, I forgot this part. I forgot his little flipper. I think it needs just a little bit more blue over the top. So I'm just gonna go in and just fill in a little bit. But you see how I'm just adding it in as I go, and I'm doing multiple layers because that's important when you're using color. Sometimes you have to layer your colors in order for them to blend together. Now, as you can see, as I'm adding a little bit more blue over that gray, that's turning into the exact color that I would like it to be. And I'm going to continue working on that until it's where I want it. And I think we are very incredibly close. I think. Ooh, friends. I think that looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is, remember we made those little lines, and I'm going to I'm just going to use the blue to make the lines and the flippers. Remember I put those little accent lines in. As you can see, like a lot of them kind of disappeared. So I'm just going to use blue to start. And then in the tail, whoops, caught it. In the tail, there's a little bit more marking. So I'm going to add a little bit of markings with the black crayon, just similar, just to give it a little bit more in it. And then there was some straight lines that you could see. Don't have to be perfect. And I think that is the best humpback whale I've made so far this school year. He looks pretty good. I hope that you enjoyed making your whale, and you may color it in however you want. So for example, the blue whale would probably be a little bit more blue than gray, and the California gray whale is probably going to have a lot more gray than it is going to have blue. So whatever whale you drew, you may color it in however you like, so long as you are using blue and black crayons. If you have colored pencils, you can use blue and black colored pencils as well. It'll create a similar effect. And the same rules apply. The lighter you press down with a crayon or colored pencil, the lighter your color is going to actually be. Press down harder, it's going to get darker, and then you can blend colors together by adding black. If you have a white, you can blend with the white also. White crayons work really well for blending colors together, if that's an effect you want to go for. So let's see, I have a white crayon right here. So it's just a white crayon. And if you want to, you can see how it kind of adds a little hint of gray to the mix. It's not perfect, but it does make it more gray blue, which is kind of more of what I was going for than just blue blue. But you can see how it blends colors together. And if you want this to be more gray on the bottom, see how that looks lighter than what it did, and it creates a better gray color. Okay. All right, friends, and that's all I have for you today. Have a good time, and as always, be excellent. Bye.